Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with Brecher Trading. First trading day of the year, January 2nd. So I thought I'd make this as obnoxious and bold as possible in here. Very excited to start the year with a new site. Very excited. Let you know what was today, the beginning of the month jumper trade. I always warn people about that this is the day that mutual funds deploy a lot of the cash that they had on the books from last year. The very end of the day, Friday didn't mean anything in the scheme of things unless you were long on things that expired that day. But you never get short in here. My way of looking at it is don't stay short over the weekend when you have a new year. If you were going to be in anything, be in some of the shipping stocks or commodity stocks or the commodities like I mentioned last week. And we'll go over those because some of those had amazing days in here. Brecher Trading coming up any day in here. I'm very excited about it. Most of the things you're used to, forum, videos, chat, morning ideas, special events. So what are they? Forum, place to exchange ideas with me, other traders, and between each other. Videos, I'm really proud of this one. You have nightly videos, learning videos, swing trade videos. How about the morning ideas? I love giving out morning ideas in here. January 2nd, I got 6 in here. Very easy. You just press on any chart to enlarge. And look at this if you double click. Boom, 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 boom. If you don't have a lot of time, it's an easy way to look at them. As you see in here, I made this very easy, just labeled. And I'm just very easy. Chat, also a really neat thing in here. We're going to be using Zoom, but you don't have to get an invitation. You just log in, and I'll be changing that password every day, but you just log in. And the best part about it is the chat will probably be open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. where you can chat among yourselves. I'll be on, and I'll announce it every day, usually around 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern for an hour, 3 to 4 Eastern in the afternoon. And I can jump on if it goes crazy intraday. I'll be, all I do is trade. So I'll be monitoring the chat all day anyway. It's not like I do this and then I go play golf all day. I'm building content all day and I'm trading. So just keep that in mind. I'm always around. The other thing is special events. There are a lot of people that can't be here every day. And I know a lot of them want to watch the archive of the chat, or they want something special, let's say on a Wednesday night, where you can ask me anything for like a half hour. That just the same thing, chat format. It's just for premium members, and it gets you in there where we'll have them on Saturdays, have them on Wednesdays, not every week, but we'll have them where you are able to participate in a more interactive format than just the forum. So I hope you'll enjoy that in here. So what was today about? First things first, go to home, and I'll do this on FinViz. Now, let me just tell you, I always say free is better, but I paid up for the FinViz Elite, at least for a month, just so I could have better screeners for you, but you don't have to use FinViz Elite. A lot of times I don't even log in, but to prepare and to have charts for you in the morning, sometimes I use this in here, FinViz Elite. So I'm going to try it for $39 just for 1 month and see if it's really worth paying up. But overall, everything I show you is free, so just keep that in mind in here. But what was today all about? What I've been warning you, futures, inflation. Go and check out, and I know I usually show you the overall market with Thinkorswim, but I want to show you these charts just to give you an idea of how everything looks in here. The Dow Jones, that can be either a bull flag or it's just topping, but right now it just doesn't look bad yet. Are there divergences like the DAX here? Absolutely. The stocks, Euro stocks, absolutely. But you don't know yet, just like the NASDAQ, if we're just going to get one of these testing the support like I warned you and then going straight up. Very interested in how that works in here. But the reason I'm really showing you this is this. Gold, silver, palladium, copper, platinum. And now it's filtering into other things. I recommended coffee last week. Go and check out coffee in here. That doesn't look like a big move until you put it on an hourly chart. It's gone up $10 in a week. I mean, these are really inflationary. What does that mean? Go back to the future charts and go look what happened today to bonds. Straight down. In fact, if all these things like sugar, lumber, coffee, cotton. I mean, we're getting some inflation in here. Then these bonds, just like I put on that video about my surprises for 2018, these bonds could go a lot lower. This might just be a bear flag, and they go down by this amount, which would put it down to this lower level from 2014, right in this area. Let me show you. Right there. About 128. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm just saying, because, you know, we still have the Fed out there. We know how that works. But all I'm telling you is it's a danger zone. There's another thing in here. I don't use the commitment of traders with many things. I posted last week that I do use it for coffee. Notice something for coffee. I'm going to go back to bonds in a second. Notice when the commercials started to get long. Lately. And what happened? It rallied. Well, go back. We're going to go back on charts, and we're going to go back to bonds. And notice something about the commercials in here. They're really short. The last time they were this short, we went straight down. So just keep that in mind of how that works in here. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see another leg down. Now, the hourly is a little tough with the commercials, but the bonds, when I look at this, the first thing I look at, I don't take things too literally, but when this is in the lower rung, that's usually a bear scenario. Now, let me tell you another thing about the bonds. We're going to go now to think or swim, and I'm going to show you what I mean in here. These bonds are forming a ledge. Go look at a daily chart and zoom out. And look at this. The more times you can connect the dots, right here. If it breaks that, they're going to here. So just keep that in mind. If we do that, that's about a 0.6% increase in the 30-year bond. That would be a big deal in the investment scene, because all of a sudden you have competition for your dollars. In fact, because bonds today got tattooed down 104, what was the weakest thing today was interest rate sensitive stocks. That's why when you go into the overall futures and you go to what the market did today, I mean, my goodness, the ESs were up 18, NASDAQ up 106, holy Toledo. You had the overall market only up 54. Why? Because interest rate sensitive stocks, a lot of stocks with big dividends are in the Dow Jones, and they were weak today. That's why the Russell, which is more growth, outperformed the Dow Jones. The other thing in here, look at the advanced decline. It was only up by 700. Why is that? Because it's interest rate sensitive stocks. The same thing. There were a lot of groups that did very poorly today. In fact, one of my favorite things to do is this. We're going to show you 3 charts this time, not just 2. Let me get them in front of me so you know what I'm talking about. I usually have these 2 big old beautiful charts right there. Bonds, whatever you want in here. Well, I'm going to show you 3 of them because I think this is fascinating to see. We're going to do a 2-minute chart of the bonds. We know they got destroyed. We're going to do a 2-minute chart of the ESs. Sorry about that. I had them linked. 2-minute chart of the bonds. 2-minute chart of the ESs. You might say, what the heck are you doing? Well, I'll show you. Look how the ESs went straight up today. Bonds went straight down. And go take an interest rate sensitive stock like Public Storage. And this is how you make the big money. One of my favorite trades is when the bonds get killed and the ESs open way up. A lot of times the interest rate sensitive stocks temporarily are levitated because of the strength in the ES. You gotta short the opening. You just gotta short the opening. That was good for 4 points. Now you might say, well, how'd you know to do that? Well, the other thing you got going for you, I'm going to go back to 2 charts in here, is PSA was already in a longer term downtrend. You're not going crazy in here. It's already under everything. On the left here, it's already against resistance. So you had some backstop, so to speak, in here. But go and put it on 1-minute chart and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that. That is a day trader's dream to short that right on the open, after the opening. Now, you might say, well, that's a good hindsight trade. Let me put it this way. If you shorted right when it broke the ATR trailing stop, you make 4 points. Don't try to be a hero and short it right here. Wait for it to break. I know it's 50 cents lower by then, but who cares if it goes down 4 points. So very exciting in there. So the next thing I thought I'd show you in here was my overall market perspective of what I think of the ESs and Qs. The hardest thing, I heard all these people bearish over the weekend. We usually have beginning of the month jumper trade. And the other thing, and I have to tell you, I'm building content for the new website. It should be up the site Thursday or Friday. So I posted a bunch of charts on the opening today just to myself. And one of them was the ESs are in a big old uptrend, and now they were oversold on a daily chart. That is not the time to short the market. Don't forget, I know you say, well, how do you know this time isn't the big one where it just keeps going down? Well, we're over every moving average, and we're over every ATR trailing stop. So the idea is the probability was you were going to lose if you were short. It's as simple as that. The other thing in here, once you broke here, right there, I want you to realize, and I know I've talked about it over and over, and I'm probably boring you on this, but check out the horizontal line. When algorithms see that, and they see that break, that's where they buy. Or did you miss the first 7 points? Of course you did. But look at that. When you make a new high after a horizontal line, it's gonna go up. It works almost every time. You have to understand how algorithms are thinking. They're saying, well, we're above the moving averages and we broke to a new high. So they combine more than one reason. Just keep that in mind. Try to get in the head of what the algorithms are doing. So where do the ESs go now? Well, this is the big old problem if you trade like me. On the one hand, you're like, well, it's still oversold. Believe it or not. Now remember, the ESs are a 24-hour product, so I could work off the oversold overnight, because this is a 24-hour chart, or let's say 23 hours and 30 minutes, whatever you want to call it. So it really hasn't worked off the oversold completely. The second thing is you got to be real aware that that might be a flag. I mean, whether you want to admit it or I want to admit it, that could be a flag right here from there to there, there to there. I'm not saying that's going to work, but that's about 25 points. That would get you to 27.10. I'm not saying that's going to happen, because after the beginning of the month jumper trade, it's real possible we get a reversal tomorrow. So all I'm saying is I would love to see the market early in the day just get up to here. I would like to see this work off this, and then maybe we could look for some short ideas. But I want you to realize something. I actually did this on here. It was really important to me for you to see an article that, to me, is one of the most important articles I've read in years. Lessons from a legendary short seller. And I want you to realize something that and when I say legendary short seller, he had one of the best returns in history, 30% a year. Why am I even showing you this? I'm showing you this because he was always net long. I find that fascinating. Always net long. So the idea in here is, if you wanted to come in massively short today, number one, that's suicide on the beginning of the month. But the second thing is, if you would have bought, let's say, some puts in Apple, well, you got to have some longs, sprinkle some longs in there. And that's the next thing I want to show you in here. The ESs, sure, they could have another move up, and I'm going to be watching this to see if it fulfills the objective. That, like I said, is like 20 points. We could have some room to go. The first day skews the market a lot. So what would make me want to short? If the 15-minute chart rolled over under this ATR trailing stop, and it works off the oversold on a 15 in a poor way, then I'll be interested. But I want to show you something else. So I've already told you about the ESs, what I think. What did I tell you last week I thought would be the stocks to surge this week? Would be the shippers. I did an entire video on that. Go and check out the shipping stocks. Look how many are up. The one that I told you not to touch, which was GNK because they have a secondary coming out, was the worst performing. But go and check these out. This is DLNG. Everybody calls it Dingaling. Starbulk, NVGS. Every single one of these I mentioned to you last week. You had more than enough chance to get in. TK had already looked good. GLOP looked good. SSW, that's the ETF, is SEA. But just one after another after another. Moral of the story, if you were going to short something in the index over the weekend, you better be long some other things. And a lot of these natural resource stocks went bonkers. Check out CENX. I told you about this bull flag at 1580. It's 21. Oh my gosh. That pays for a lot of mistakes. Let's put it that way. So if you had sat there and you were short something, this more than makes up for it. Always have a basket of longs and shorts. So just keep that in mind. So for tomorrow, what am I going to be doing? I'm still going to be watching the interest rate sensitive stocks. Do I think they finally hit some support? For now, yeah. But I mean, I don't think they're out. I'm not going to buy them. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to buy the utilities. I'm going to be watching some of the other S&P stocks, like the Boeings of the world. Boeing actually underperformed all day to the very end. As you see, it got a dose of Viagra right in this area here. But I basically think that this stock, we'll have to see if it makes a new high. I'm not sure of that. So I'm going to be watching to see if there are any signs of a reversal. Let me show you the way that I think you play an intraday reversal. You take the futures and you go back to the ESs. And if the ESs are starting to act lousy tomorrow, and this is close to breaking, and the advanced decline line is negative, you look for the stocks after the opening that are already showing weakness. Look at Home Depot today. Well, I'll show you. Here's Alibaba. I'll show you the tale of two stocks. Look at Alibaba, gap up here. Now, I thought it was going to break here, this ledge right here in the middle sextant here. My problem with that is that I didn't want to be short over the weekend. I just didn't want to be short. And thank goodness it opened up. And the moral of the story is it never looked bad all day. You get yourself hurt shorting on a 5-minute or 15-minute when it never looks bad. Contrast that to Home Depot. Home Depot never looked good today. It's really odd. So what happens is these stocks look lousy intraday. And if the market came in at all, those would be the ones you want to short. I'm not saying short Home Depot tomorrow. I'm saying short stocks like this. And the other thing, don't short a stock that's volatile, that's already oversold. Roku looked like garbage earlier in the day, but the problem is, look at the daily chart. It's so oversold. I'm going to even make this bigger. That's about as clear as I can tell you. Do I think that longer term it's going to get annihilated? Absolutely. But this job, if you want to stay in this business, it's a law of probabilities. And when something is that oversold, selling into the hole, so to speak, is not a good probability trade. So, but I'm going to be watching stocks that acted poorly today, and tomorrow stocks that have poor relative strength. Those will be the first ones I short. So I hope everybody's enjoyed this video. Probably went on a little too long. Just to let you know, if the site starts tomorrow, the only videos that will be free from then on are the free Friday videos. So keep that in mind. And so we'll have the whole sign-up sheet. I hope everything works in the next couple of days. So take care, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening.